Okay, so here we are, on to the second part, and let's start answering these questions. I noticed that I have some bracket notation questions in here too, so let's go over them. And as usual, don't forget, watch the video, do the second section, section B, show that to me or someone qualified, and then only do section C after that. So, which bracket notation below is equivalent to this? Well, it's not allowed to be, it's got to be parentheses on both sides because they're both not equal. So, I'll go to D. Next one, which is equivalent to this? Well, here we have an or equal to, so that's got to be a staple, and that's got to be a parentheses. So, I'm looking for staple parentheses, choice B. Number 6, when solving the equation, 4 times 3x squared minus 2, in parentheses, minus 9 is 4 times 3x squared minus 2 plus 7. She wrote this guy. Now, what's happened? What's happened is that there's no longer a negative 9 here. Also, the 7, which was over here, has become 16. Now, how did she get from that? Obviously, she had to add 9 to both sides. That's how you eliminate the minus 9. So, if you add 9 to both sides, that is the addition property of equality. Okay, so now we get on to this interesting diagram, which we covered a little bit in class. We didn't cover that much of it. But I was fairly happy to see that most of the kids did pretty well on this question. So let's get going on it here. All right, so what we want to do is we want to figure out what goes in the box and which property is being used. So as I look at it, first I have to figure out what's in the box. And to figure out what's in the box, I have this diagonal here, and it tells me to use the associative property. Associate means to be grouped with. If I'm going to use the associative property, I got to change where the grouping symbols go. So this is x times 3 times x. So I put the parentheses there. All right? Now, if I compare, let's go all the way to the left here and work our way around. If I compare this, if you notice, the parentheses were here, and now they're here. The parentheses have changed who they're grouping, and here the x in the middle is grouped with the x on the right, and here it's grouped with the 3 on the left. That is the associative property, so an A should go there. Now over here, if you notice, they took the whole 3 times x, and they moved the whole thing to the front. That's switching order. Switching order is an example of the commutative property. Remember, commutative property is like A times B equals B times A, where the order is switched. Associative is like A plus B plus C is A plus B plus C. Notice in associative, what's in the parentheses is changing. B is being grouped with C, then B is being grouped with A. On commutative, I'm just changing. The A went first, now the A went last. Just because you see parentheses does not mean that it has to be associative. And what you notice here is this entire thing, 3 times x, is switched to the front instead of in the back. After the x, it goes before the x. That's switching order, that's commutative. And if you notice here, what's happening is, this is a little really tricky. Now, instead of it saying 3 times x, it says x times 3. Again, that's also switching order, so that's commutative. Okay? So, nice, quick, and easy. There are the questions on the test that dealt with, in some way, shape, or form, properties. The bracket stuff was a little bit repetitive, didn't really need it in here, but it's really not that big a deal. Okay,